On November 18th, 2011, the End Dimension was added into Minecraft as a part of the first official release of the game with Update 1.0.0 at Minecon 2011. Being added as the second part of the Adventure Update, it became a staple in the community and oftentimes is a favorite point in time for many. The End was a major component to be added into the game, being the first new dimension since the Nether, which was added a year prior on Halloween. On top of it being the release of a new dimension, the End itself was also considered the end of the game. A final boss, a credits roll, and there you go. Now, over 7 years later, the End is home to a few small other features, the End cities, End ships, and a little bit more. However, we have to ask, in 2018, after 13 additional updates, is that enough anymore? Should more be added to the End dimension, or should it stay a relatively desolate wasteland? In this video, we're going to discuss that possibility, give our opinions and ideas, and a little bit more. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. The End Dimension. It's many things. A dimension, the end of the game, an endgame location in general, and more. After defeating the Ender Dragon, players are urged to come back and reap the dimension's rewards. Shulker boxes, elytras, dragon heads, the works. But right now, honestly, the End doesn't have much. While you may go in and get those things a few times, overall, you seldom find any need to go back. While you can make a home or a base in the End Dimension, and it's usually fun and cool and all that, it's often an empty experience unless you're playing with a couple of friends or other people. But what would make it better? Surely there's something that Mojang can do here. What the dimension right now is currently lacking is life and polish. This has been a common thread between both of Minecraft's secondary dimensions, in fact. Just like the Nether, not much has fundamentally changed since its initial inclusion. Things have changed, but not on a crazy scale or anything. While it's arguable one way or another that these dimensions do or don't need an update, we're still going to offer up some of our ideas. So let's start off on the End Islands. Number 1, the main island is fine. Some tweaks or polish could definitely be added, but overall, it's a battlefield. When fighting the Ender Dragon, you want a relatively clear place to duke it out. Some small structures could be added, but what we currently have is simple, to the point, and understandable. Other End Islands, though, they're in need of refinement. The smaller, insignificant islands could use a little bit more content, but the big ones really need some TLC. To put it simply, I don't think chorus plants are enough. This is an entirely new dimension, so why stop at just a single fruit? Mojang should consider bringing other plant life to these islands or anything else. Just like the brand new Wither Rose, some plants could harm players or have some various effects. We have these new mysterious stews in Minecraft 1.14, so the opportunity for more cooking variations or new recipes in general sounds extremely satisfying. But plant life isn't the only thing these islands could have, though. More or less, these islands are entirely constructed of endstone. Maybe when traveling through these islands, you'll have a rare chance of finding an island with a deposit of some new mineral exclusive to the End or something like that. These minerals could be used for various things, upgrading items, making entirely new items, etc. The possibilities are endless. And speaking of mineral blocks, let's talk about blocks in the End in general. The amount of blocks that spawn in this dimension is ridiculously low. In total, only a handful of blocks are actually exclusive to the End. Purpur, endstone, dragon eggs, chorus plants and flowers, end rods, shulkers, and that's about it. Everything else can be crafted before getting access to the End, and that's honestly a little disappointing. I honestly feel like the End needs more block variation. The same could be said for the Nether as well. These dimensions just simply don't get enough focus, which is unfortunate because of their overall potential. Another feature that needs more focus are the end cities. While they're great in their current form, I feel that there's a lot of potential here for them to have more variation. While these structures are typically massive vertically, and although they often vary in size, there may or may not be a lot more potential here. A concept that may work well for the end in a very unique way might be end villages that could exist under and around the end cities. Overall, it's the same concept as an end city, but with generally less loot. Why should the Village and Pillage update be limited to just the overworld? The possibilities for this concept are crazy. With how we've seen jigsaw blocks working in the overworld, seeing them work in the end might be cool too. Jigsaw blocks offer loads of possibilities not only for villages in the end, but also potentially island spawning as well. Maybe houses in the villages could be separated by various islands. To get around, you would need to build a bridge across, or if you were lucky enough to find one at this point, fly with an elytra. But if it's a village, it's gotta have some inhabitants. In the villages, maybe a variant on villagers could be added. An interesting opportunity would be to introduce an end smuggler of some type. Trading with these smugglers could potentially be a way to get items from the outside world into the end. Using the previously mentioned minerals, players could trade them as a currency similar to how emeralds are used in the overworld. Also, more mobs in general. In the end, only 3 mobs spawn: Endermen, Shulkers, and the Ender Dragon. Naturally spawning Endermites could be a nice addition to this dimension. Adding the Phantom was a good idea, but it was ultimately removed because it was just a nuisance, much like it is in the overworld. Also, make more ground mobs for the end. Since these additional realms are meant to be dangerous, maybe adding mini bosses like Wizrobes or Guardians from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild could be an interesting idea as well. There's seriously so much potential here. But what do you think? Do you think that there's a reason to update the end dimension, or should it stay the way that it is? Are these places better as somewhat desolate places, or would more variety spice them up a lot? Let me know in the comment section down below. But other than that, that just about does it for me for now. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like on it, because it would really help out myself and Michael McChill, who co-wrote and edited this video, the channel, and the video quite a lot. But anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed. My name is Ant Venom, and I bid you all farewell. Thanks so much for watching.